Hi, so I'd like to do a little video with my 3-tire Moog mother rack and the VCF-303. You see, I have two mothers here and the VCF-303, and I will only use this single module, nothing else. First of all, I use the upper Moog for a little percussion and for tempo setup. So this LFO triggers with a square wave. My clock multiplier goes into the tempo in dinsync.info mode because it's dinsync, of course. And first one I'll do is I've entered a bass drum. You can see it, hear it here. The bass drum is mostly 1 and 5, and it's a very high note. So the keyboard output of the high note triggers the bass drum, mutant bass drum in this case. Second one is a hi-hat. I simply use a hi-hat on every single step. So I take the gate output to trigger the hi-hat. The only thing I did was modifying the decay on the hi-hat a little bit with an LFO or with a Wogglebug. So we have open and closed hi-hat variation, as you see, as you hear. And the last one is the assignable output. This assignable output is a random output. See here, press button combination is number 8. It's random output. And I use the random output to generate a random mutant snare. So in the end we have like this. Quite nice, isn't it? Okay, but now to the important stuff. The Moog mother has a very nice sequencer built into it, and the sequencer is perfectly able to play some acid patterns because it also have accent and glide functionality. And we will be using these two functionalities in a second. So I've entered a very common acid pattern, which is the Phuture Acid Tracks 303 pattern. Most of you should know. But we don't use the Moog filter here, we only use the square wave of the Moog. Of course I could also use the original OSC 303 oscillator, but I want to use the square wave of the Moog because I think it's a great square wave. You can modify it and it sounds brilliant. So we take the output of the filter and put it into the external audio in and put this one to external. So we will be playing the VCO but not the VCF of the Moog, right? Next of all, we take the VCO pulse output into the filter input, and now we should already hear something. Right. You know this track, right? Now let's get this in the right sync. Like this. And now the fun part begins, because now we are using the Moog to drive this filter. First thing, of course, is we need the envelope of the filter. So we take the gate output and trigger the envelope here. And here comes acid. Next thing is we correct the glide, listen to the glide, on step 1 especially. Now it's gliding, and it's perfectly. The glide is very nice. It's like an acid glide. So this is already very nice sounding. If you ask me. might think it's a little boring to take this Phuture as a track, but since everybody knows it, I think it's good as a demo to see what the Moog Mother can do with this filter. But now we want to use the accent as well, because the accent is something very special about the 303. So what we are doing is, I take the assignable output of this mother. You see here, LED number 7 is the accent, and it's programmed on step 1, 3, 5, and 8, I guess. So the assignable output, as you see here, is on page 1 is 1, and that's the accent. So I take the accent through the VC mix as an attenuator, like this. Take the VC mix output into the accent input. And this filter also has an accent output, and we can put this one back into the VCA control voltage input. So now we can, with this accent, modify 3 things at once: the filter curve, the decay, and the volume of the VCA. And this effect is so special for the 303. So let me clean up this mess a little bit. And now listen to the accent of the Moog. Isn't that acid? It's great. So here you can do really crazy things with this accent input. Now we have VCA mode and envelope mode. I opened the filter fully, so it's high pass filter fully turned up. This is basically complete open, no resonance, but the VCA envelope is on, so I can do this. Use a short decay. I can even add a second envelope, because the filter still has one input open CV input for the filter. This one is the envelope output, so this is the last input. And I can use, if I want, the second envelope on this one. Listen, these are overlapping envelopes now. Like an echo. totally in love with this. I'm totally in love with this filter and the Moog. And as you see, you can use the sequencers of the Moog for quite a lot of things, because this single sequencer is good for 3 percussion elements. I mean, it's a basic pattern, but 3 percussions with this single sequencer. One is keyboard, one is the gate, well, that's the clock, and one is the assignable random out. You could also use the accent here, by the way, so you can program accents on single steps, for example, for controlled hi-hats or controlled snares, and use the assignable accent output to control the 3rd percussion element. But this is just, you could say, a joke. But this one, plus this one, for me, it's a great acid machine. Now you could also, for example, modify the pulse width of the square wave, and it sounds really terrific. Know that these two, the volume and the accent, are only halfway up. This is because this one can generate up to 20 volts, and I think the Moog is good for 8 to 10 volts on these inputs, audio input and also VCA, CD input. Overdrive is fully turned down, so it's closed, no overdrive. This is pure Moog sound, no overdrive. Like it. Well, and that's about it. Enjoy the acid. The accent is really the most important thing. Some distortion maybe on the bass drum. not doing this. Thanks for watching.